At first glance, it could be easy to believe that the higher the average income is of a family, the larger that family would be, as the parents are able to support more children to adulthood and bring them into the workforce. But the graphs we present actually prove the opposite. In fact, the higher average income, or GDP per person, the lower the fertility, or average number of babies per woman, will be. There are many reasons behind this, and we will delve into a few of them. Poorer nations cannot afford medical care or advancements. Thus, many children die in either infancy or at a young age. This forces families to produce more children in the hope that some may survive. Additionally, countries with lower income do not have great access to birth control and contraceptives, which result in higher fertility rates. Also, there is usually a correlation between nations with lower income and nations that do not prioritize women's education. This is important when considering total fertility, because there is a lower opportunity cost for an uneducated woman to have a child than for an educated woman to leave her schooling or job to raise a baby. Also, an added benefit of education is that often family planning and education have some role, so both the father and mother would be more aware about sexual health and fertility. In the United States, one can see that as income rises from the 1800s to the 1920s, fertility falls dramatically. During this time period, living conditions were improving dramatically as the harsher conditions of America were tamed. Then, in the 1930s, with the Great Depression, both income and fertility dropped, as there was no benefit for there to be more children when families were already going hungry. But, in 1944, the workforce is fully mobilized, as both men and women go to work in World War II, and just as in the UK, there is the baby boom that follows. In the United Kingdom, the first thing that is interesting to note when tracking the data of the United Kingdom is the stretch between approximately the 1820s to the 1870s, where there is a dramatic rise in income while the fertility rate remains constant. This could be due to the Industrial Revolution spurring the English economy, while sanitation and medical care did not improve by any substantial amounts, so child death rates remained high. Also, during this time period, families could send children into the workforce at a young age, and so there was a benefit to having more workers in the household. You can clearly see the dramatic effects that both World War I and World War II had on the economy and subsequently the birth rate, and then following the baby boom after World War II. In China, the first relevant data begins in 1840, and it stays largely consistent, with around 5.5 babies per woman regardless of the economy. Then, in the 1930s, we start seeing shifts as both the Japanese invasion of China and the Communist Revolution caused decreases in income and a spike in fertility. It is also easy to see the effect of the famine of 1959 to 1961, where total fertility drops dramatically, but rebounds afterwards as more food becomes available. In 1979, the infamous one-child policy is instituted, and so there is a gradual decrease of birth rate from this point until 2000, where total fertility reaches a point of approximately 1.5, and it remains largely constant, regardless of incredible income increase. In 1960, the Democratic Republic of the Congo received full independence from Belgium, but with no stable government attached. Subsequently, the economy of the DRC was incredibly weakened, as there was no strong power in place across the nation. As the economy failed, income fell, and the fertility dramatically increased as living conditions worsened. In 2000, there seems to be a rebound of the economy, but this was the nation entering a civil war, which often helps the GDP increase even as the country becomes war-torn.